So this is Immortal Planet, not just Immortal, but I can't fit the whole name in. And it's an indie game that came out a couple weeks ago that is very Dark Souls-esque. And there are a lot of games saying that they're Dark Souls-esque. And, it's a popular kind of tag now to just say, oh, this is like Dark Souls. But this one succeeds in a way that few others do. And that is kind of that feeling of combat, of hacking away and then dodging and knowing when to block, and really, really strong stamina management. You're going to see me die against this guy a bunch. It's so crazy how much stamina management is important here, because you can do 5-6 slashes, and the character I picked, the trait I picked for him, I regain health. So you see the bar turn red. If I attack, then I can regain some of that health before before it starts going down. So there's an aggressive mechanic there, similar to Bloodborne. And once you get it down, it definitely isn't something that happens right away. It probably took me till half an hour after the tutorial area to fully understand kind of how this all works. And once you start leveling up and getting more powerful, I started realizing, like, okay, if I dodge like this, I stopped blocking entirely and only started dodging. So pretty much, and that worked for me. It worked for how I'm playing the game. It's so weird too. It's hard to describe because it is all the kind of in your head of how much fun this is. It is a Souls game, much more so than a lot of other games will try to be. This is, for lack of a better way, hardcore. Like, this game will kill you. It does not care. It does not even want you to try and care. Like, no, it's going to kill you, and you might get frustrated and even give up. Partially because the game does not a great job of guiding you after the tutorial area. It puts you into this area right here, and you can go north, east, or west. And you can actually go back south as well once you get a certain item. And it seems like the order of events should be west, south, north, east, roughly along those lines, right? But I couldn't figure out how to go further in the west, so I went to the north and ended up grinding there, not necessarily intentionally, but because I could kill an enemy and gain an entire level off of killing one enemy. So of course I'm gonna do it, right? And I did that for a while. I was in that area for an hour, just struggling to get through it, getting experience, losing some of it, bringing a lot of it back, leveling up 20, 30 times probably, and having a fun time overall. But once I started going the correct direction, which again still didn't happen because I went to the east, which is what people I think are saying go there last. I went there, got to the boss, first boss, and then almost beat him and was like, this is the wrong way. I clearly should not be here. Left, finally went to the west, which I had to look up a video walkthrough to figure out how to get, and it was stupid. Like, that's what my main complaint about this game is. It does not tell you where to go, and the ways you're not supposed to go don't seem hard enough to where you're not supposed to go here, but you really shouldn't be going over there. And so I kind of messed with my playthrough because I went the wrong way, which is my fault, and I didn't detract from my fun. It's not a very long game anyway. It's probably 6 hours to do it all, and I still really enjoyed my time. But I feel like if I had gone the correct direction, I would have had a little more fun than if I had gone the wrong way for an hour. Now, granted, I leveled up a lot, and I went back to the other areas, and I cleaned shop through them, but seeing the different enemy variety is a very nice, like, this guy's ranged, this guy's melee, and when they do this thing, this telegraphed thing, I know when to dodge, I know when to block, I know he's taking out his gun so I can strafe, and he's not going to be able to hit me. Oh, he's throwing a bomb, okay, do this. That's really cool, and it does that super well. You can always see, if you look on the screen, you can always see enemies' health bars and all of that. That works super well. And also their stamina, which is important because once you or if they use all their stamina, you can dash into them and stun them, and even dash into them and knock them off the wall or off the platform. This game is Immortal Planet. 2D Souls-like. You'll see the more Souls action stuff happen in a second. But the dashing into them when they're out of stamina is a key component, because if you do it too soon when they're not out of stamina, you'll get stunned, and you can even miss the dodge. You can do all sorts of weird things where if you fall off the platform, like I just did it there to stun him, you can fall off the edges of these things, of the platforms, with the dodge. It's kind of demands a little more knowledge and placement of where you are as a player. And I really enjoy that. Also, should talk about the bosses, which are fantastic. These large creatures shooting lasers, and every weird magic element they do is something you can find in the game. So it's not just you hacking and slashing. You'll find these different elements. Like I have a pistol with my current equipment and a lightning strike. And depending on what you level up, you'll get other magic and other weird things along with that are super cool and weren't for my playstyle. My playstyle was very much just fight the demons with your sword. That's how I play the Dark Souls games anyway. That's how that works. But I also enjoy the style of this game. There's not a lot. It's weird too. Something like this, it does it so well. And once you learn the mechanics, once you learn the enemies, it has this such a great flow of combat. It can feel slower. It can feel difficult, like really difficult, but it does hit a point, and it might be halfway through the game, really, where you start to understand, like, this is what this character is doing. I know how to abuse this system in a very Demon Souls, Dark Souls way of, Dark Souls is way better than this. Well, yeah, it is. But it has that same thing of Dark Souls. Like, you have to learn its rules and respect it, and then once you do, you can abuse it. Right? And this isn't trying to be a 40-hour RPG like Dark Souls. It's just a 2D game that has a lot of Dark Souls influence, particularly also with the HP recovery system, which actually is kind of annoying because if you get hit while you're doing it, it doesn't keep healing you. You have to like stand still and keep the healing going. I'm not going to dispute if Dark Souls is better than this. Dark Souls is a better game, but it's nice to have other Dark Souls like things. That's my favorite thing besides the Dark Souls game themselves, is their influence on other games going forward. Seeing things like Neo pop up is just fantastic. I love, let's take that formula and go somewhere a little further with it. Let's take it to the next level. And I think having these 2D games, this is the best one I've played, the best Souls-like that's 2D, kind of indie style weird thing of all these is there Soulsvania. It's just Souls-like. It's like roguelike. Rogue's a game. A lot of people think roguelike is just some weird term. Rogue is a game that plays like a roguelike. Go figure. So it's Souls-like. But Soulsvania I'll take, because Bloodborne is basically a Castlevania game in 3D, for all intents and purposes. Because it's like they're so close to a Ninja Gaiden, right? Especially Neo, for obvious reasons. But it's not. It has these numbers and this strong adherence to stamina and patience. I guess that's what it is most of all, is patience and looking and thinking. It's a third-person action game where you have to think strategically as if it was XCOM or something. It's not like other 3D action games. I love games like Bayonetta, yeah. Yeah, I just talked about Hellblade. It does have similar, sorry Caps. It does have, its combat makes it similar-ish to Dark Souls, but the HP system is basically auto-regenerating, so it's not like Dark Souls in that respect. And you can kind of just dodge, like the dodging in Hellblade is very forgiving. You can just dodge through whatever the hell you want, and that's fine. It's less about, it's more about blocking at the right time and doing perfect dodges, than a Souls game usually is. I guess Perfect Dodges or something in there, but Hellblade's different. It's more about the story, I would say. A good 70% of that game is not fighting. Whereas a game like this, or Dark Souls, it is all about the enemies you're seeing and you're overcoming. The story is there, you know, especially in Dark Souls, it's there and important, but it's in the back seat. And these games are primarily about the combat, to me, especially. It's the very mechanical, like, numbers, like, this is strict rules and you're gonna follow them, and we don't care. Like, we don't care about you manipulating the system. If you can figure out a way to do it, fine, but you're gonna follow the rules until you figure it out. That's what I've loved about it. Particularly the surprises that come around the corners. This game, it has some surprises. Like, this guy comes out of nowhere and duplicates himself. I don't appreciate that. So this is actually the end of the game, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the game is better than the ending. The ending comes out of fucking nowhere. Still a great game. Immortal Planet, I'll say it again. Immortal Planet. I can't fit it all in my little sub thing. Fantastic Souls game. I think it's $15 on Steam. It is a little short. There is a New Game Plus that isn't just, oh, it's harder now. It is much more difficult. It's not even New Game Plus. I guess I just call it, it's Nightmare Mode. You play through the game again. The first level, I played most of it, and it seemed really rearranged in a fun way. And it gives you a different weapon, and it gives you a bunch of other status boosts. Very much enjoyed the game. Nah, dog. Nah, dog what? Is this about Christmas, Will? Are you back to tell me about Christmas? Is there a Norse Christmas? I'm really excited for Sonic Mania 2. I'm just really bummed out that the PC version got delayed, because I'm getting that version, and I'm going to be getting my collector's edition with the Steam code for nothing. So that's fun. That's always good to see. Sucks. Really sucks. Getting on Switch. Well, I mean, like, when I looked back at Amazon and I pre-ordered Sonic Mania almost a year ago, before we even knew the Switch's name, before we even seen that hype trailer they put out. But I want it on PC. I'm like a big PC guy. If I can get it on there, I'll have it for the rest of my life. I won't have to deal with finding my Switch or charging this, or do I have an active PlayStation account? Doesn't matter. I can just play it on PC forever on Steam. So I'm down with that. And I think it's a bunch of garbage too, because they're giving out Sonic 1. Who doesn't have Sonic 1? You could accidentally have Sonic 1. You might, like, just check your Steam library. You might have it. You just might have Sonic 1. It's not really like, oh, we're sorry we delayed the game 2 weeks, 4 days from release. Here's Sonic 1. For all you hardcore Sonic fans, here's a game you haven't played yet, Sonic 1. It's just a really tone-deaf, stupid move, I think. At least give me the full trilogy, or anything. Even nothing, I think, would be better than giving me Sonic 1, to tell you the truth. What the hell am I going to do with Sonic 1? I already have it on Steam. I could go get the Genesis copy. You know, like, I have it. I probably bought it twice. I don't need Sonic 1 as a reward for your silly game. But like I said, this was the end of Immortal Planet. It has that kind of Souls story of not, ooh, it's vague and weird, but Souls does it better and is more interesting. This is the bad ending. If you beat it on Nightmare Mode, I believe you get the better ending. I don't know. Maybe there's another boss. I don't really want to play through the game again just to see that, but it was fun enough to see.